Hello, how's everybody doing?
Hi, everybody.
Jamie and Marcus here from Aroma Time and 50mistakes.com, my free online, what do we call it? A coaching website for restaurateurs, for all business owners.
Yes.
And the book 50 Mistakes is written after that website. Wanted to talk to you today about, I heard a story the other night that you did not hear the story.
I was not there, no.
A friend of ours came into the restaurant to eat, and she said, Marcus, I love coming to your restaurant, this and this. She goes, I have to tell you, I have to share an experience with you about a restaurant that I went to, semi-local, that I will never, ever, ever go back to. And she goes, and the restaurant isn't that busy of a restaurant. She goes, it's not like they couldn't have accommodated us. So she went there for lunch, ordered three, her and her two friends, she brought them into this town that can use exposure and needs people to come into town. She goes, I want to entertain this town, I like this town. She goes, I brought the people in. We ordered 3 ribeye steaks at $30 a ribeye steak. Our ribeye steaks, I don't even think, what is ours? Ours $29, $28. And we serve grass-fed, really, really awesome beef here. And she goes, Marcus, I had no idea what quality they were. We got the steaks, they were terrible. She goes, but here's the terrible part. She goes, we wanted to substitute the potatoes for a salad. And she goes, you know what? They wouldn't do it. They totally would not do it. She goes, the waitress said no. Then she said to the waitress, can you send the owner over? And this restaurant's dead, by the way. She goes, there's nobody in there. We're the only people in there. We're spending $30 a person for lunch. Only people in there. The owner's there. She saw the owner. The owner never came to the table. Folks, if you're not substituting, if you're not accommodating to your guests, you're going to lose your guests. What was that story about Bob Farrell? Remember Bob Farrell?
Give them the pickle.
Give them the pickle. Bob Farrell had a place called Farrell's, lots and lots of locations in the Northwest United States, I believe. I was never in one.
No.
Friends that were in one. And Mr. Farrell decided one day that they were going to start charging for pickles.
Well, no, everything when their sandwiches went out, they always went with pickles.
And
that was the story.
Right. And
They always went with pickles.
Somebody wanted an extra pickle, though, wasn't it?
Yes, they wanted extra pickles. And the staff member said, well, you're going to have to pay extra for that extra pickle. Meantime,
this was a lifelong customer, somebody who went in there all the time and was a faithful customer, and they charged him 25 cents for the pickle.
And that guest wrote him a letter.
He said, Mr. Farrell, I will never be dining at any of your restaurants ever again. You can keep your pickle, you can keep your 25 cents, I will not be back. And Bob Farrell was like, oh my gosh.
He was taken back.
He was taken back. So then from that, he started training his staff and training other restaurants to just give him the pickle.
Give him the pickle. Who cares? That 25 cents doesn't mean anything to you as a restaurant owner, but to the guests, you're charging them extra for something. We've heard a story before. Remember, there was a local place, they were doing sandwiches or something, and somebody went in, they ordered a sandwich, it was like $4.99, then the person behind the desk said, do you want chips with that? And they said yes. And then they said, would you like pickle with that or whatever it was, something else with that? And by the time they were done, they kept building it on. And by the time they were done, it was $8.99 for a sandwich or something like that.
When the person thought they were spending.
They were just spending $4.99.
Now, some of that might seem obvious if you're ordering all these extras. That's like ordering a burger at a normal restaurant and then not coming with French fries.
Right. And then
French fries are part of a burger at most restaurants.
So I think they were figuring the potato chips came with the
Right.
sandwich.
So if I look at a burger on a menu and say, oh, it's $9.99, and the waitress says, oh, would you like French fries with that? I'm going to just say yes automatically because I'm going to assume the French fries come with it.
Right.
Then all of a sudden the bill comes out and it's, I'm a firm believer of you price your food. So let's say you have a burger that's, let's just say $10, $9.99. Every option of burger that they could possibly order is $9.99.
That's it.
I don't like to say, well, add this, add
bacon,
that.
You're adding cheese, you're adding this. Yeah.
Right.
We don't charge extra.
Just make it all one price and adjust your price so everybody knows whether they get extra bacon or no bacon or cheese, cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese, that it's always just $9.99 or $12, whatever you need to charge, make sure it's always there. That's what we've always done. Same thing with a lot of other things we have, especially drinks behind the bar. You might have gin that's a $2 more a bottle, $2 less a bottle, $5 more. Just have all your gin at one price, except if it's a more expensive premium,
Right.
super premium. So it's all easy. So you always know, hey, all our martinis are $9.
Right.
not $9.50, not $9.75, not $10.50. It makes it so confusing. So she actually went online. Our friend went online and
she wrote a bad
review about this restaurant.
All because they wanted a salad. See, here's the thing. The thing is, the experience starts with your ordering. If you go to order something and you're told no, your experience off the bat is going to be a discouraging, negative experience. And you don't want to say no. You don't want to say no, and try not to say no. And what's the difference if you give them a little side salad opposed to some potatoes? Make that guest happy. Give them that pickle. Give them what they're looking for. No matter how bad that steak would have been, maybe she would have liked it more had she not been told no.
If she had her salad.
The experience starts at the table. The experience starts when people walk in the door. And the experience starts. You can have a table walk in and or people walk in and want a specific table. They don't get that table. Their meal, I can sometimes, most likely, guarantee there's going to be something wrong. There's going to be a problem.
It's because their
expectations were not met, and it's our job to meet those expectations as restaurant owners.
Right, and charging an extra quarter for something or not saying no to a salad. Now, there's certain times in a restaurant where the sauce is pre-made.
Or you can't do it.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
But then you have to explain
to them, I'm so sorry, but our sauce was already made with tomatoes, and we can't take the tomatoes out. Right. Or the mushrooms are already in the sauce.
There's already bacon in the sauce.
Exactly.
So the chef cannot eliminate that.
But if we can, we will.
And my big thing is we always say, I always tell the wait staff, tell them we'd be happy to, but because it's a special order, it's going to take longer. Yes. Which means, you might have to wait another, and they'll say you might have to wait an extra 10 or 15 minutes because he has to reset something up, or he has to make sure, especially if it's an allergy. If somebody has if they're really bad celiac, we have to say, we have to clean down all the utensils, wipe down all the boards, make sure, and he needs to get a couple tickets out first, a couple tables out first, then he's going to work on your ticket by itself. And usually the customer's going to say, oh, wow, he's going to work on my ticket by itself, so I know there's no contamination, cross-contamination, whether it's sesame seeds or whatever it is.
And you know what? I was just thinking, that owner might not have even known that the guest was asking about them and wanted to talk to them about the steak at that restaurant. That just popped into my head,
If the wait staff didn't.
If the wait staff doesn't tell properly and inform,
right?
And
because you know how a game of telephone goes. It's just like this message. That. By the time it gets to you,
when you said the wait staff has to explain, the wait staff should explain everything off the bat and be very upfront and talk to the guests.
Right. The owner should have come to the table.
Absolutely. If he was there. Maybe he wasn't there.
We went to a restaurant back in 93, 94, and I still remember this from that many years ago. What'd they charge us for bread, extra bread?
Oh, I don't remember.
They charged us like 90 cents or something small. And it was a nice French restaurant. We got our one basket of bread, and we asked for more bread, and they charged us. Do you think we ever went back there?
Never.
And I love that restaurant. That was one of the little place in Colorado Springs called La Crêperie. I love that restaurant. All the chefs went there from the Broadmoor. We always ate their little casual French concept. And they charged me 90s. They charged us 90 cents. We were
back in 93. That was a long time ago.
We never, ever, ever went back to that restaurant. Nor did I ever recommend. And I always told that story over and over again. Because in the restaurant industry, folks, you have to assume that the guest is going to order a second basket of bread and figure out the chart in your entrees for the bread. Now, some restaurants don't do any bread at all. That's just not part of what they do. And I got to tell you, running a business, running a restaurant, it's extremely hard to do nowadays with the cost of everything.
We were charged for bread somewhere else too, just recently.
Because it wasn't part of service.
It's not part of service, right?
And they charged us $3.
But they told us up front the bread basket cost $3.
The bread was really good.
It was really
and
good.
Really worth it.
Worth the $3.
But up front we knew, hey, there's no bread here.
Right.
Bread is bread. You actually have to order bread.
And they explained, the portion sizes and stuff like that. So.
And we actually ordered like 2 or 3 loaves because we were with a couple
so
people,
good. It was really
and it was really good bread. We're like, oh, we'll take more of that. It was one of our trips to South Carolina or something during our
Charleston. Was it
Charleston? Yeah,
it might have been Charleston.
Our mastermind group.
Yeah.
So, restaurateurs, business owners, are you saying no to something you could be saying yes to?
If so, stop and think before you say no.
Exactly.
Train your staff.
Train your staff, because maybe the staff just wasn't trained. Well, you know what?
And that was my point.
She said no. She said no because she's used to saying no. And she's saying no because the owner lets her say no.
Right.
It's the owner's fault that she said no. to begin with.
Yes.
And if you're in the customer service business, you yes until you physically can't do it. People used to, when people used to read newspapers. Remember that years ago when we first opened? Oh,
Newspapers.
do you have
No,
a
I'm
newspaper? We used to go to the store and get them 3 newspapers.
Sure
The
did.
New York Times, the Post, and the local paper for an extra $2.
Who cares?
Back then, who cares? Give them 3 newspapers to read. Don't ask. Just give it. Just give them the pickle. Give them. For me,
Give them the extra.
For me, buying a newspaper that night was already built into the cost of the entrees.
Absolutely.
It was always built into the
and
cost of the
They
experience.
probably came back again and again because we did something above and beyond what anybody would ever do.
So go to 50mistakes.com. Check it out. Got a ton of free videos there. Sign up for my email blasts. And happy profits.
Have a great day.